Planned Parenthood is not affiliated or associated with Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a registered trademark of Planned Parenthood Federation of America Incorporated. Planned Brotherhood is not affiliated or associated with Planned Parenthood. Again, it is not affiliated with Planned Parenthood because Planned Parenthood is a registered trademark of Planned Parenthood Federation of America Incorporated. Thank you.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. This is another episode recorded on the road in Portland. Kelly joins us again. If you're not getting sick of her yet, I know I am. Want to remind everybody that we always need disclaimers. You can call those into 206-338-7562 and tell all your friends to join our Facebook fan page. We want to get as many people on there as possible. Thanks for listening, guys.
I don't know if this is a funny story or not, but we'll see. I was at Value Village with Sophie.
Hilarious already.
And, Sophie will run into shit and whatever. It's
but it's a thrift store, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything breakable is not going to take you back too much.
Yeah, no big deal. So we're standing there in line, and I'm holding her hand, and she's swinging back and forth, like, on my hand, like she's kind of flailing about. And there was a lady behind me in line. Like, she was standing right behind me, so we were kind of angled so Sophie wouldn't hit her. And then after a couple seconds of Sophie doing that, I heard a crash. Like, she obviously just crashed into a cart. And so I looked down at Sophie to be like, oh, it's okay, and see if she's crying or something like that. And she's just staring up at something. Just not scared or anything like that, just like almost mad dogging somebody.
Okay.
And so she's mad dogging the pusher of the cart. So I look at the pusher of the cart to like smile and go like, oh, isn't that funny? And this lady is mad dogging Sophie straight back. And I am convinced that she pushed her cart up for Sophie to run into it. Because this is the same lady that was behind me and wasn't in the way. And now all of a sudden she had pushed her cart up right into the, line of fire of where Sophie was swinging around.
So you stepped up.
No. I immediately looked back. I did say something like snidey to Sophie, like for the lady to hear, but I can't remember what it was.
But directed at your daughter?
Well, I said something like, like, it wasn't this, but, oh, don't worry about that lady or something like that.
Is that a thrift store trash thing or a Yakima trash thing, I wonder? It was going to mad dog a baby.
Yeah.
I'm still going to call her a baby.
It was just a lady who had a problem. Like, we're inside Value Village. This kid should be standing still.
Was it a racial issue, you think?
No. Let me go ahead and fucking actually injure her.
She's tough, though. I think like she could take that lady out.
So this is like part of a 3-part story of how I didn't stand up for myself at all.
Oh, excellent.
That was the first one.
1 of 3. All right. Maybe not start with that one next time?
Okay. We're going in chronological order here.
All right. So what is this, a 3-part series of you not being a man, not stepping up?
Of me not stepping up, like, quite how I would think. Like, a lot of times I think, like, oh, my God, I'll just pummel this guy into the fucking ground if he says anything. But it's not like that.
You're not like that in general.
No. The second guy came into Olive Garden, where I work as a bartender, and the way he came up to the bar, his scary guy, tattoos all over the place, had his arm under his shirt. I thought he was coming up to rob the bar. Like, that's what I thought. But he just comes up and, like, kind of throws his hands on the bar. And he's like, what's up, man? You got ice cream? I go, yeah, we have ice cream. I want some of that and some shot. And I go, some shot? Yeah, give me ice cream and some shot. And he, like, starts walking away to sit down. And I'm like, hang on a second. Hey, I was like, what kind of shots? What are you talking about? What kind of shot do you want? What are you talking about? What kind of shot do you want? Why are you being such a fucking idiot, man? You know what I mean. I go, okay, sir. Obviously, I'm not going to serve you now. But what I meant was whiskey, tequila, vodka. Yeah, whatever, man. Just give me one. Oh, no, I'm not going to serve you now.
Is that because
By the way, there's a lady.
I mean, I know why, but isn't the only rule that if they appear to be intoxicated, it wasn't one of those situations. He was just being a dick, right?
Oh, we can turn away anybody who we want for whatever reason, especially in the bar. Like maybe not like, oh, you look like trash. You don't look like you're gonna tip, so I don't want to wait on your family. But in the bar, sure. And there's a girl there picking up a to-go order for her mom the whole time, standing right there. And hostesses just gawking at the whole thing. And so my voice is shaking and like all the adrenaline's going through my body. Like I can just hear what a pussy.
Kind of exciting,
like.
right? Like
yeah.
How often do you get that vibe anymore, that feeling?
And I'm like, I'm not going to serve you. Why not? Well, you called me an idiot. And then he's like, yeah, but I'm not drunk. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to serve you. And he's like, give me some fucking ice cream then, man. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to give you any ice cream. He's like, I want an ice cream cone. I go, we don't even have cones.
Where does this guy think he is?
And he starts pointing. You know how in restaurants they have little plastic cone cups that like you grab, you take a drink of water out of real fast? Kelly, you know? And,
Kelly's here. Off mic.
So he's pointing at those, and he's like, put some fucking ice cream in there. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I was like, these aren't edible. And I pull one down. I go, look, see, these are paper. And then he grabs it out of my hand, crumples it up, and smashes it on top of the bar like this. He goes, you're really fucking rude, man. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to kick your fucking ass. And walks out the door. I was so
Did he give you a time and a place,
scared.
or he says he's just going to pop back
Well,
in?
no. I watched him walk into the bar next door, and I'm like, well, now he'll get kicked out of there, and he'll just move on down the line. But that was now in that one, I did stand up for myself. It's not like I apologized and gave him a shot.
Yeah, but you're also, you're at your place of work. You know
Yeah.
that you can go hide in the back for the rest of the shift if need be.
Yeah, but I'm being Mr. Shaky Voice. I'm wondering why this is like the 5 minutes in history no one's walking through the bar. Like I got all my friends working there. No one will walk through the bar.
Well, it sounds like nobody wants to mess with this guy. Tattoos?
Yeah, but other than the hostesses, nobody knew he was there.
Uh-huh.
Like I went in the back and I was like just shaking, and I told Efren, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? Just now?" But later on, I'm thinking like, man, I should have been like preparing myself. Like I was standing right underneath where all these wine glasses hang down. Like, how stupid of me to not be aware that those wine glasses were there in case I needed to grab one, and hit him or something like that. Like, I wasn't being Jason Bourne at all. I wasn't giving myself.
Yeah, but have you ever been in a physical fight? And then we'll get to your third one.
Yeah, like in 8th grade. The last one was in like 8th grade.
Never as an adult, though.
No.
Me either. Although it feels like you had to have had a couple of close run-ins.
Yeah, I've been close. Well, there was that guy from the episode. Was Scotty Doesn't Know?
Oh, right. That was a story.
Which, by the way, I was outside smoking a cigarette outside of work the other day, and he was at that bar, Sports Center, and he was just like, there's that fucking goddamn PJ piece of shit. I'm going to kick his fucking ass. But I'm like out there. I'm on the clock. I can't do anything about it. Okay. So the third time, and this one is interesting to people on the show, is
we'll see about that.
It was a fun little day where I had gotten off work early on Saturday night. I'm going to go to the bars, hang out with my friends. I'm walking, so I don't have to worry about I don't have a care in the world this night. It's almost like I'm doing mushrooms, but not quite. So I'm walking to the bar, and the whole way there, I'm just smoking pot. I got my one hitter filled up, so I'm just like the whole time walking, half hour. I'll just nonstop be inhaling pot. That way, when I walk into this bar.
Where are you at in your own head? Are you listening to something, or are you just...
Yeah, I got my iPod on. I'm
Sure.
listening to a podcast. So when I walk in, I'm going to be high out of my mind, and then I get to start getting drunk, and I don't have to worry about driving home.
You're not going to think about your
hang
kid
out
this
with
whole
my friends. Tonight's going to be awesome. So I do that. I walk in. I go to the back side of 2nd Street Bar and Grill.
Uh-huh.
Travis, the bartender, he's outside hanging out. Also, this is actually a big part of the story. I'd flat ironed my hair that day.
Of course you did.
Because I wanted to
you
put
keep
it...
threatening to do that. You finally went through with it.
I wanted to put it in a ponytail to look funny, but then once I'd flat ironed it, I still couldn't quite get it in a ponytail, so it was just laying flat on my head, which especially in the back where all these curls are, it looks ridiculous when it's straight.
But you're high. You don't have a care in the world.
Yeah,
Curl, no curl. Who cares?
So I walk up. There's Travis. I had forgotten about my hair at this point. I've been getting high the whole time. He mentions it, so now I'm a little self-aware about my hair. And this is also Saturday night. 2nd Street's a very popular place. So I walk in, and it's just fucking crowded. Like, there's just everybody everywhere. I'm hoping my friends are already here with the table. So I start walking around, start looking around for my friends. I'm rounding the bar, and I feel a hand on my shoulder, somewhat aggressively, and my friends can kind of be like that. You know, they're big guys.
Yeah.
And so I turn around with a
And
big...
it was the guy from Olive Garden with a name.
I turn around with a big smile on my face, like, look at my dumb hair, Sean or Har or whoever this is going to be. And it's Andy. It's the brother of storytelling who we talked shit about.
We didn't talk shit about them, really, but,
no, but we
they're going to
talked
defend their sister's
shit
honor.
about their sister, and I have been dealing with looking over my shoulder nonstop because they have promised to beat my ass.
Yeah. You directly, or how do you have this information? I mean, prior to this particular night you're talking
Without getting too much into it, I work with someone who's close to one of them.
Okay.
Who let me know.
So what's your relationship with that person?
My coworker.
Yeah. So
That's
does
it.
this person have resentment towards you based on what they've heard from...
No, they don't care.
Oh, okay.
But they know that I'm going to get beaten up by these two brothers. So fair warned me.
And these brothers, back even when I was dating her, like they tend to be a little aggressive sometimes.
Yeah.
Even
and they're
when
big.
this was at the time that they were claiming to be Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff. But those guys just love to get fucked up and get rowdy.
Yeah.
And I could see them starting fights with anybody. They just happen to have a good reason when it comes to you.
They're taller than me. They're bigger than me in every way, shape, and form. So I turn around and I'm looking into his face, which is terrifying. When I'm high, not expecting it. Here we go. So he goes, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I go, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And he goes, "Hey, maybe you should get out of here before..." He goes, "Maybe you should get the fuck out of here before something happens." And I'm like, man.
You haven't even gotten a beer yet.
Harsh. And so I just kind of look at him and I go, okay. And I leave. I walk right out the front door, out the bar. Buddy, I told you, these are examples of how...
Did he have an entourage with him?
Yes.
That he alluded to?
Yes.
Was his brother part of that entourage?
Yes.
Oh.
And like I say, these are examples of how I wasn't a man.
Uh-huh.
I was high. I hadn't been drinking. So all I want to do right now is get outside and smoke a cigarette and text you and tell you what just happened.
Which you did, yes.
But I will admit that I made it sound to you like I was maybe still in the bar.
Yeah, this is news to me. I thought you were like mad dogging him from across the bar.
You were like, "Are you going to leave?" And I was like, "I might have to." But the thing is, I was right outside debating whether or not to go back inside. So then I call my friends, and without telling them anything, find out they're not there yet either. So I go, okay, well, I'm going to go check out Sports Center. So I go across the street to Sports Center, pay a cover, which sucks, get in, saddle up at the bar, and then I just start fucking pounding them back. Because I know I'm going back to 2nd Street.
Oh, you do know that.
I know I'm going to get hit in the face. And I just want to have a lot of Liquid Courage podcast, inside of me. So I'm just drinking and drinking and drinking and not listening to Liquid Courage podcast. Did you get what I was saying?
Yeah.
I was saying I needed Liquid Courage. I threw podcast.
Yeah, I got it. You don't have to explain things to me, buddy.
Yeah.
So you're drinking, you said you're building courage. Courage to fight back if it comes to that, or just to be able to take a punch?
The courage to try to talk this guy out of punching me. Like if he comes up to me to try to actually have a conversation.
Right.
That's what I'm building towards. But yeah, but to take a punch if I need.
And you've got friends on their way, so you're going to come back with a posse of your own?
So I text my friend Sean when I'm in Sports Center. He's like, "Hey, where are you? We're here." And so I kind of catch him up to it. I'm like, "There's a guy. We talked about his sister on the podcast. He's there. He told me he's going to kick my ass."
They pretend to have loyalty all of a sudden.
So right now I'm waiting for the response text that says like, "Oh, come over. We'll take care of him." This is I probably have it on my phone, but this is the text in a nutshell that I get back. "Damn, dude, just hurt my knee today too. Afraid I can't get your back." That's what my friend texted me. "Afraid I can't get your back. Just hurt my knee today." And this is a big guy. So fuck that guy. So anyway, I keep going. I walk in to 2nd Street like maybe an hour and a half later. I make a big joke of it. I know my friends are in the dining room at this point. So I've got my hood over my head and stuff like that. And I come running to the table just to make them laugh or whatever. So I'm sitting there for a few minutes.
And he's still in there, right? Her brother.
At this point, I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
I order a drink, and then I really have to go to the bathroom. So I get out.
No.
Or no, wrong. Nico comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, let's go smoke a cigarette." So I'm like, "Okay," and we go out the back to smoke a cigarette, and I'm like, "Okay." And Nico knew what was going on because he had been sitting with the friends earlier. So as soon as we go to the bathroom, and I'm like, "I hope one of them's not in the bathroom." There wasn't. I go to the bathroom, open the door, and there he is standing right there.
Ugh.
Right there in the bathroom door.
And he's the fat one.
Now, I thought it was the same one. I thought it was Andy again, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
This was Tony. They're dressed exactly alike today.
They're twin brothers, to be sure.
Yeah, and they're like
not an exaggeration. They're actual twins.
They're 5-year-old twin brothers because they're wearing the same exact outfit together out at a bar.
I think we could pull that off. If we lived in town, we could coordinate some outfits.
Yeah. So he's just saying like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude? What's going on?" And I was like, "Hey, you tell me what's going on," because I still think it's the same guy.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Oh man, don't fucking worry about Andy." And I was like, "Wait a minute, you're not Andy?" And he's like, "No, haha, you're so." He's like, "I'm serious, dude. Who fucking cares? Nothing's gonna happen. He's just drunk. He wants to fight anybody." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Interesting, because I'd heard they both had it out for us.
Yeah.
So is he fucking with you at that point? Hey, man, everything's cool. And then bottle over the head?
That's not what happened. He's just telling me that. And then I was like, "Well, I'm going outside to smoke a cigarette. Do you smoke cigarettes?" And he says, "Yeah." So he comes outside.
No way.
So now all it is me sitting on this bench just listening to him tell me whatever he wants, literally whatever he wants to tell me about why he was mad, about why he's not so mad anymore, about how his sister was mad, how his sister said to beat us up, how his sister said to forget about it. This is Tony. He's the one who was walking by me one day and flipped me off from across the street.
Yeah, but he was always the more rational of the two.
But didn't run across the street, I'm assuming, because I was with a black guy that day, so he didn't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, Yakima doesn't know how to handle that.
So he was just like, "Don't worry about Andy. I'll calm Andy down." And I just kept saying, "I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it." He told me to leave. I left. I realized that was stupid. Now I'm back. Whatever's going to happen happens. He says nothing's going to happen. I go, "Okay, that's awesome. Cool. Good news." So then he ends up going back inside. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So hopefully this whole thing is over." So when I finish up my cigarette, I come back in, and there's Andy standing right the fuck there. Now, he's standing there with guys who we knew, former Jehovah's Witnesses.
Uh-huh.
Turns out this whole thing is Andy's.
Can I get a name? And then we'll bleep it.
Why bleep it?
Okay, you're right.
Eric.
Oh, yeah, you texted me that.
Who was that guy?
That was a big guy, too, at least back in the day.
Who was that guy that lived with Darren that got arrested for by the FBI for, like, fraud on the computer?
I remember. He's
Tyler
a big sweaty... Yeah.
His brother was there.
Damon.
Tim.
This is so exciting for the listener.
Yeah.
But I just needed now the scene's created in my head.
So I'm walking by him, and this is probably, an hour and a half, 2 hours after the initial confrontation. And now he couldn't be happier to see me. Pulling me in, got his arms around me. And I'm not being a dick, but I'm like, he puts his arm around me. I shrug it off. I turn away so that his arm's not on. I don't want his arm on, in case it is a trick. I don't want his fucking arm on me. I don't want Eric behind me. Now I'm actually being smart and keeping them both, like, in front of me, keeping an eyesight on the bartenders, because, like, I was really, really utilizing the fact that I know and am friends with almost every single bartender in that place.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are aggro guys. So I'm just using all of that to my advantage. So, and they're asking about you. Where do you live? What's your address?
Oh, fuck no. Fuck no.
No, but they're like, "How's Nick doing?" All this kind of stuff. And I ended up telling it. So Andy's going on and on and on. I feel like this is the most boring story.
No, keep it going. Keep it going. I'm interested.
Kelly? Okay. It's a boo.
That was a thumbs down.
Let's wrap it up.
So that's it? You're friends now? That was not the ending I was expecting.
Absolutely not. We're not friends now. But I just told him, I ended up telling, I was like, "Look, man," because he starts shit-talking the religion and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
And
I had that conversation.
And I was like, "Look, man, that's what we talk about on our podcast, whatever happened. We talk a lot about our religion because we grew up in that, and we talk about your sister because she was engaged to my brother, and she hated me, and that's a big, that opens up for a lot of conversation. He literally said, I understand, it's cool. And he was just so fucking happy with me after that. I go down and join my friends.
Was it an alcohol thing? Because it sounds like it was a pretty quick
Yeah,
turnaround for this guy.
I think it was. I think he got drunk, and he kept saying, this is my bachelor party. I'm getting married. Enough with this kind of shit. I was very happy.
Wow. I'm happy to hear it.
And then I'm sitting down with my friends again, and every time one of them, like Tony walks by, and they're like all looking at him, and then Tony comes over, he's like, "Whoa, guys, don't mean any harm." And sits with us for a minute. Like, it was crazy. Like, they just want to be buds again.
I think it's a matter of episode 27 storytelling is when things really, really started to get scary because we were irresponsible. We were new to podcasting back then. We threw our name around. They had a reason to be mad, but that's a year and a half ago now. Plus, they never really liked her that much.
Yeah, and that's what I said in that episode is that we don't have to worry about them because they don't even like her. But
it was a legitimate reason to get in a fight with one of us, but neither of them, their hearts weren't in it.
Yeah.
It's funny, though. I love the turnaround. I think that was the best story you've ever told.
I got it.
You said it was a 3-part story about you not being a man, but you came back in that last scenario.
But me not being a man is when he said, "Hey, maybe you should get the fuck out of here before something happens."
Okay.
I said okay and found the nearest exit. But every bartender there knows me. They're not going to let anything. But now I'm high and I'm thinking about how the King of Yakima's there. And if you go back to that episode, Scotty doesn't know. He thinks I caused too much drama by people wanting to fight me.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, King of Yakima will probably ban me from here for 10 years. Just because I call him the King of Yakima, he's probably looking for an excuse now.
Yeah, it's hard to say, though. 2 weeks from now, the same thing could happen. Andy will forget that he'd forgiven you and given you a hug. But then you pull out a picture of your kid and be like, come on, man.
But we don't run around the same places at all. His being at 2nd Street was a fluke. I've never seen him there before.
Yeah, because I go to Yakima quite a bit to do this, and I've always got my eye out. And recording here... What is this? I guess we can tell people we're still in Portland. It's going to be spread out over a few weeks. But this is where storytelling currently lives. And when we were having our wonderful mushrooms experience the other night, what was it that you said? What was the only thing that could have ruined it?
Well, I didn't want you to be worried about anybody being mad or anything, so I said...
so don't bring up her name. Don't put her in my head.
I said literally the only thing we have to worry about right now is if storytelling were to walk by, which would be the worst thing ever.
Because she wouldn't have threatened to punch us or told us to meet her at noon in the alley.
Well, I was a little...
She would have just come at us, I feel like.
I was a little worried about it when we were going to the Baghdad Theater yesterday because we smoked pot on the way there, and then you're just pointing out, there's where she lives, there's where she works,
that is, if
here's
it's where
her favorite restaurant, and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm high, and I'm like, oh, God, we are going to see her. I was so scared. I'm just surveying the lines the whole time and everything.
Yeah, I was doing that for a little bit, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah, I eventually forgot about it, too. I got drunk last night.
Yeah, let's talk about last night a little bit, just to wrap up this Portland adventure. Last night was equally good to Friday, and not just because of the picture we got with Jimmy Pardo, host of Never Not Funny, which is now up on Facebook, I imagine.
It'll probably be our logo for this episode.
Yeah. Let's not get his permission first. Let's just see what happens. But that was just one of many semi-celebrity sightings.
Yeah.
Let's go down the list.
Who's the first? Well, first was a couple days ago.
Chris Finnegan.
Mr. Christian Finnegan.
Yeah, he was sitting outside. He actually ended up being the guest on Never Not Funny Live last night, which was weird.
Yeah, and then once we got to yesterday, it was Mark Maron.
Right, he was just wandering around town, and then sitting behind us at the actual Never Not Funny show.
Right? He's just Mark Maron.
WTF?
Well, yeah, he's got a podcast.
Sure.
The Bammer. We saw Maria Bamford.
Yes, we did.
From those
Target she seemed very nice. I didn't from those Target commercials. I'm sure that's how she loves to be introduced.
I overheard her saying something about trying to catch a cab or something like that.
I should have given her my Target gift card that still has $7 on it.
Yeah, I'm sure she needs that. Who else did we see in
Oscar from The Office.
Wow. Let's try to stay in order here.
Oh, my bad. Kelly, what comes next?
No, that's way out of order.
Yeah. We're building to that. That's the big payout.
No. So,
what did you pulling out your phone? You put him down?
Yeah, I made a tweet about it.
You texted yourself?
Saw last night. Yeah, I guess we're not that out of order, but after
this whole system's out of order. I can tell you that.
Dumb. After the Bammer, this is like when
Don't call her that like she's your high school buddy.
we were getting so then we go into Never Not Funny, obviously.
Right.
We watch the show. Mark Maron's sitting right there. We see Christian Finnegan come in again.
Sit down.
We hadn't
few
seen
rows
him in
down
a
from
couple
us.
days. I said from when we started this Portland trip, let's stay at the Hotel 50 because it's being sponsored.
Hey, your wife lined up the hotel. I had nothing to do with
Because
that.
they're a sponsor of this comedy festival, and I've stayed there before, and he knows where they're staying. And on stage, they were giving their room numbers at the
They really were.
at the Hotel 50. Like, it was crazy.
Unless that was a really layered bit, but I think they were just throwing their room numbers out.
So we see these guys, like, on stage, of course. But
And
then,
we're drinking the whole time. That should be noted.
yeah. But then, so when we come out, we're kind of standing against the rail, and you are announcing over a PA system that Pat Francis is standing right next to us. Like, you were yelling it. And every time you say, Pat Francis, and you're saying it while not looking at him, but he's looking at you every time you say it.
I don't even remember seeing him or pointing him out at that point.
You say, Pat Francis. He looks over. I go, I know, dude. And you go, no, what I'm saying is Pat Francis is right there. He's looking over again and sort of inching over. There's Jimmy Pardo, dude. There's Jimmy Pardo. Jimmy Pardo's looking over at us.
It's a fucking huge
Like,
deal.
you were being the biggest nerd about it.
Weeks leading up to this, we were talking about, wouldn't it be great if we had a photo opportunity with Jimmy Pardo? And there it fucking was.
But that's not what we were doing, though. We're standing right next to them, talking about how we're standing right next to them. Like, isn't that embarrassing at all?
It is now that you're recounting the story.
Well, it was embarrassing for me last night.
I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
but
That's
you
what
know,
this is about, huh?
But how could I get mad at that? Of course you're excited. I can't get mad at that. So you guys are going to follow them out. So Kelly's in the bathroom. Me, Zach, and you are standing there. You and I are like, should we get a picture? Should we get a picture? Zach
I don't remember there being a lot of debate.
Oh, there was a lot of debate.
Okay.
Zach takes the camera, tells us to quit being a pussy. He's going to go get our picture taken.
And then I run up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I bail. You guys break right. I break left. I want nothing to do with it.
What the fuck? This is the picture of our lifetime.
Yeah, I just didn't want anything to do with it. And because I was afraid that something would happen, and go ahead and say what happened. How you approach Jimmy Pardo.
Well, okay. He offers a T-shirt via their. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a T-shirt that's very specific to their show, and when we sat down to enjoy the live podcast, there were like 8 other people in our row with that same exact T-shirt, and I had debated back and forth whether or not I was actually going to be that guy, but then I decided it's different than wearing an Aerosmith shirt to the Aerosmith concert somehow.
Plus, you've got like a sweater zipped up.
Sure.
Over
Yeah.
it.
But yeah, when we see Pardo and Zach's gonna get the picture, I just immediately unzipped my hoodie and was like that was my ID. This is my way of getting a picture. I don't even remember what I said. Do you?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't there for that.
I was just like, "Hey, man, I'm a big fan of your show. It's great." And then I didn't ever directly point out my shirt, but I was obviously showing it to him. Like, "Look, I'm one of you. I threw $20 that's now in your pocket on the shirt." And then how'd you get back in the picture?
Well, I imagine you said, "Can I get a picture?" Or
Zach
said, "Can we get a picture?" And then. So, I'm standing far enough away to not be seen with you, but close enough to where, like,
I wish you were me.
Like, if he says yes, then I'm going to run in real quick and get in the picture, because my biggest fear is going to say no, and I'm going to
right. Although he seemed to be really cool with everybody coming up to him outside.
He seemed to be cool, but kind of in a hurry, like.
Then what's he doing hanging out outside with the smokers?
Yeah. So I see the pictures being taken, and I come on over, puts his arms around us. Took the picture.
Fucking amazing.
It was so awesome. Says, "What's your name again, Nick?" He asked me, "What's your name?" And I said, "I'm PJ." I said, "I'm PJ. Jimmy, I'm a really big fan. Good job tonight, Jimmy." Like, I just kept saying, "Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy." It was awesome. And then
it was the highlight of the weekend, almost.
Poor Kelly missed it, and then like Pat Francis was there, and Matt Belknap was out.
You want to get a mic for this little part?
You're
welcome to.
I was so done with getting my picture, with asking people to take my picture, that, like, I don't know why. Just that kind of thing embarrasses me. I'm afraid they're going to say no.
I've never done it before, yeah.
So, like, I didn't want to go up, like, once Pat Francis and Matt Belknap and shit were there and try again.
Let's get a quick sound check from Kelly. Check, check, check.
Check.
Okay.
Sounds good.
The funniest thing was I come out of the bathroom and there's a bag of popcorn, which I saw somebody hand Jimmy Pardo, and a Monster, which he was drinking, sitting right behind me.
He does love his Monster Energy drink.
And I go, what the hell? Like, thinking he's here. Like, and then you go, yeah, look, picture. And he's standing right behind, and then I spaz out, and I can't get a picture. But you're showing me your picture. I was so jealous.
Yeah, and then the whole night from that point on, my camera's in my pocket, and I'm sure, because I'm getting drunker and drunker, we're moving on to the Ass Cat show after this, and I was sure that I was going to delete it somehow from my phone.
I was
before
terrified
it
of
made it to the
that, too. I was like, why can't it be a phone
internet.
picture?
And then I was making a bit out of it. Oh, my God, PD, it's gone. But by the third time, you were done with that.
So back to celebrity stuff. Well, we got like halfway down the block, and then didn't you, Kelly, and Nick go back to see if they were still there?
Yes,
Try to
because
get a
I decided,
picture.
okay, I can do it.
I was drunk on the idea of celebrity pictures at this point. I got
Yeah.
my one, but I did get the most important
Yeah.
one. And at this point, have we seen Oscar from The Office, or was that over at the other theater?
That's at the other theater. You're jumping so far. ahead.
Sorry. People like spoilers.
So now we go to the Hawthorne Theater for Ass Cat.
That's right.
And first thing I see when we walk and by the way, now I've developed a system to where spot a celebrity, get about 10 feet past them, and then I point them out to you. Because there was also when we were leaving Never Not Funny, we walk past Mark Maron's chair, and you go, "Hey, should I call Mark Maron on my phone right now?" And he like looks up, like, "What does that even mean?" And so we get to the Hawthorne. We're walking back,
Well,
and
the Mariner buddies. I got his number. Why wouldn't I?
we're walking back, and back towards the show, and I'm like, holy shit, there's Scott Adsit from 30 Rock
sure.
and Mr. Show, like fucking awesome. Should I tell Nick? Yeah, I'll tell him in a minute. So we round the corner. I go, Nick, that was Scott Adsit right there. And you go, hold on, dude, I'll be right back.
I just wanted to get an eyeful.
Run out there and stare at him, and then run, grab Zach, try to get Zach to find him. But no, like after we found our standing room, Zach and I come out to go smoke or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And, it's this thing where you have to walk sideways through a crowd, and walking sideways through the crowd they crossed us. We probably touched Cox, was Oscar Nunez from The Office.
And I'm standing over there pointing at him so you don't miss him because I'm like, oh, they're going to walk right past him and not know it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm directly behind Oscar from The Office at this point, which I'm sure you were trying to avoid having happen. But I wasn't going to approach him, even though I think he's a talented improv
And also
actor.
a dick.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Who else was with him? Abed from Community.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Uh,
Danny Puny.
Pooty.
Pooty.
Yeah, but I came up right behind Oscar Nunez.
Is that another word for Pirate's Treasure?
I just wanted to touch Oscar, and so I touched him with my.
You literally touched him with.
But he was in front of me. Like I could have been anybody. There's a lot of stuff going on in his
But
back
who
area.
does that? Like,
I just
not
now
like, oh,
now I can
excuse
say that I
me.
touched him to the internet world. I've just told.
And then, so throughout the whole show, Kelly is just going, I can't believe Abed's just standing over there by the door.
but you kept doing it too. You turn over and be
I was
like,
getting mad at
it's
the
like
guy.
he's a normal person.
I was like, fuck that guy for just,
Just
standing
standing
there.
there.
Fuck him and his white teeth. Fuck that guy.
Oh, and he was so
Wearing
nice.
his messenger bag. So Kelly's going to get her picture taken with this guy. It's Kelly's turn to shine.
I love him though. I mean, Raj
Yeah.
from Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
And how long did it take to wait for and how many pictures did the girl in front of you take with him first?
Oh,
It
I
was
was
like they were
so
buddies.
mad. I
That girl
know.
was ruining it for everybody.
Seriously,
Like,
her
there was
and
a
him-
crowd forming.
You're going to take a half hour of his time, and then he's not going to want to talk to anybody else
Because you,
except he's so nice.
Didn't tuck your double chin in enough for
And
the
like
fourth
after every
in a row.
picture, she's showing them to him like he fucking cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. No good. But you eventually got the picture you were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was super nice.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were outside and he ran across the street and was like, I love you guys.
Yeah.
He was a big star. Meanwhile, Oscar Nunez is Mad Dog and everybody from
Yeah.
his hotel
yeah,
room.
fuck that guy.
Somebody asked him for a
Hey,
picture.
He's on an NBC hit show. We got to be
Whatever.
careful here.
Somebody asked him for a picture, and he said no, right?
He didn't
That's what
even
happened.
acknowledge him to say no.
Oh.
He merely turned his head and was like,
What
like the guy didn't exist.
You're at the fucking Bridgetown comedy, and you're walking around with Abed from Community. It's like, why are you two even friends? That's weird.
Yeah.
And give me a fucking break. He went and stood against the stage, like in the very front,
Oh, I know.
forever, like under the lights, like he wasn't trying to be seen.
Right.
Yeah, he's
I mean-
using his celebrity for everything, good seat, everything like that.
Yeah.
But don't fucking bother. And when he was standing in the beer line when Nick touched him, he's like, "What the fuck is going on with this line? Like, it's a long fucking line, dude. We all got to stand in it. Shut up."
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Oscar, that you think you're so fucking awesome.
Do you remember when we went outside? Well, I know you remember when we went outside because you fell on the way there
My
and on
knee
the way back.
hurt so bad.
my God.
This is a day later. God. Kelly, you can describe it best of all. I think you were the most together at that point. But we weren't. We were like standing in this little weird.
Yeah, they had almost. I kept calling them like stables. That's what they
Yeah.
like. They each had. I don't even know what that thing was. It was a part of something.
It was like several partitions or something. Maybe they put little stools in there at some point.
I think it was like it was made as like part of a stage or something.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't made for what we were using it for.
All I know is when we walked in that place, it was crowded and all these things were empty. And I was like, let's
Let's
stand
just
here
Yeah.
and hope we don't get kicked out because they're pretty money spots, really.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when after the show started and you look behind you and there's so many people just standing there, nothing to lean on or anything like that. And then as soon as we stood there, everybody stood there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get out of there because Nick's got to go to the bathroom or something.
And there's a
Nick-
low-hanging chain.
Nick is fucked
There's.
up at this
It's
point.
not a chain. They're like partitions, and it was like a diagonal bar, and I knew it was going to be a problem as soon as I saw it when
Yeah.
I walked over there. I was
Well,
like,
thanks
this
for
is
the
going to
warning.
be a problem.
About ankle high.
About ankle high, yeah. So Nick decided he was kind of in the back, so you're not really, and the thing was low and it was dark, and
And I was fucked.
so whoever steps out in front of you, PJ, I guess, and
Yeah.
he steps over the thing. Nick doesn't step over it at all.
And so I just, I completely hit
first
the floor,
you
right?
like kind of
I wouldn't even remember this except for my knee hurts so
you
much.
started to trip over it, and there was just a lot of like, oh, and then
And there's so many
there's so many
you-
people. Like there's
You're
a
going to
chair.
hit 10 people on
And
the
I
way
did.
down.
I remember falling into a group
There's
of
a
guys
row
on
of
the
chairs
way down.
literally like 3 feet from where you're falling, so your chest like falls into the guy's knees, and then you're reaching your hands out, and you're basically falling on 2 men.
I didn't think they were there.
But the fall took so long because
Yeah.
like
I heard it and I turned around and he was only about halfway
halfway
down.
down, and then he just kept going farther, and then those guys, they didn't really do anything except get out of your way for the
Yeah,
fall.
they're like, look out for drunk. Because I'm thinking, okay, here's a big crowd. We just got to wade through this crowd. Nothing's going to happen. Disaster strikes. And I'm like, we better not get kicked out. Like,
Then-
fuck
I know,
all
I know.
ass.
PJ just turns around and you're just like, oh, it's like you don't know what to do. And I don't know what to do, and Zach doesn't know what to do.
It's not like I just laid on the ground writhing, though.
No,
I got back up.
You jumped up immediately and ran out. But here's the best part. I know you have a story from when you go outside.
Oh, no, please.
But you come back. You come back a little bit later, and you fall going back into the stall thing.
And that was even worse because he tripped over the bar and fell straight into the
The
wall.
wall. Just right into the wall.
That was worse for me, better for everybody else in the video.
And I swear, Zach's role for the whole night was to pat us on the back and go, "You feeling all right, buddy? You gonna be okay?" Because he wasn't drinking that much. He knew he had to drive back to Vancouver. So, but yeah, do you remember when we saw
Nope.
Scott Adsit again outside?
No, I don't.
And you were.
He was too busy worrying about his knee and all the pain.
No, I don't think the knee pain struck me until we were out of that place.
Yeah. I go because we're standing on the corner and he was right across the street.
Uh-huh.
And he was coming across, and I go, "Hey, look, dude, there's Scott Adsit again."
Why would you talk to me at all
And,
at this point?
and you start looking for your camera, and I was like, "No, I don't really want to do that, dude. Let's just look at him." And I was like, "Look how funny it is," because like he walked up to the crosswalk, and they had to wait a while for it to turn walk, and there was a lady standing there, and I get the impression he knew her, but like he made a little bit of small talk with her, and I think she wasn't really having it. So he was just standing there so awkwardly, like, I would in an elevator or standing next to some lady on the crosswalk. And he's just like hands in his pocket, bouncing up and down, waiting for the light to turn green. I thought that was funny. You see, they're just like us.
Yeah,
Just
man.
hanging out like they're real people.
And when Zach and I walked by Christian Finnegan, like
Poor old Christian Finnegan. Begin again.
it was,
He made that joke about himself. But
yeah, you just stole a Christian Finnegan joke.
What? No, I did it.
Yeah,
Was that during ASCAT?
Yeah,
No, it was during Never Not
during
Funny.
Oh,
Ricardo's thing. Yeah.
I had to get up a couple of times. There was some peeing
And
going
then
on.
what's his name? The other guy was like, I'm fat, I'm Christian.
Pat Francis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll let people listen to that one on their own.
Me and Zach just kind of both happened to casually glance up at him, and when he saw us glance up at him, it was like hands in his pocket, head down, like he was so embarrassed. I think he's the guy that just gets embarrassed if he's approached. We were talking about it last night. He used to be a big fat guy, so he's probably got some self-esteem issues. What do you guys think of ASCAT? Kind kind of a letdown.
Dude, I was specifically Meadows. Like he
Tim
barely
Meadows?
talked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time, I don't know, I was just really let down. The opening act was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the opening cat was like Ass Cat Junior, like these college
It was
kids
a
that
Yeah, and I
Portland
felt like
improv.
all
There was one funny guy in there. The guy that looked like Nathan Fillion. He was
Oh, yeah, I
pretty
remember him.
funny.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it was true improv. I felt like they asked for a word, and then they did one little tiny bit about that word, and then launched into whatever it was they were going to do.
Yeah.
Well, I think the
anyway.
idea is because Christian Finnegan would come up and tell a story based on a word that somebody throws out, and then they
Yeah,
can
but we're
organically build the way they want to, whatever.
But we're talking about the opening act.
Oh,
Yeah.
The
okay.
opening act bailed on the word immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
Until the very end when they said filibuster,
Yeah.
like just to tie it all up.
Yeah.
That's like the Yakima improv troupe Manic Thunder, who I watched their YouTube video, and they're like, okay, we're going to be giving a press conference. Someone yell out who I should be. People are just yelling out names like Donald Trump. Nah. Yelling out,
That's
no,
the easiest one.
That's not a good one. People are just yelling out name. No. And then finally someone says a name that can think of something for. And he's like, okay, that ruins everything for me.
Yeah, when the
that
first
takes
group,
the improv out of improv.
the first word somebody said was filibuster, but then he just sort of like was obviously killing time, thinking of shit, waiting for other people to yell stuff out, and then he's like, okay, filibuster.
Yeah.
It is kind of fascinating to watch their minds work really fast.
Yeah.
There
I'm
was
talking about the professionals, the one
Yeah.
that came later.
Well, except there was the one kid in ASCAT who, like, the fat kid in the
Yeah,
green
yeah.
shirt,
I don't know who that guy was
He didn't-
or who he thought he was.
he had nothing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad. He'd try to come up and he'd just kind of stumble around something, and
Until somebody tags him
Tim
off.
Meadows would tap him out.
It was a great night. This is a great weekend.
Yeah,
Spending it
is.
with great friends, great family.
It's almost
Yeah.
Kelly's
over
ignoring
now.
us for the great internet.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. My computer's still broken. If any of your listeners can fix my computer, I'll give you an HJ.
in a time in a timely fashion. This will be up in 2 weeks. Write an email.
Oh, yeah.
We'll meet somewhere.
Please.
Thanks to Devin for this hotel room. You
Dude,
think
I
you can
know.
get us a late checkout? Late checkout.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe.
nice. We could get a couple more under
Let's
our belts.
fucking sleep until 2 in the afternoon. Just
No.
go back to sleep.
It seems counterproductive to what we're trying to
Yeah.
get accomplished. here.
Man, I'm not kidding. When you guys stopped at McDonald's yesterday, I was like, "Oh, they're at McDonald's." I wanted something.
You were passed out in
so-
the back seat, we should
I
say.
wasn't passed out. I heard every
Well,
word
I
you
mean,
guys were
I'm
saying.
not saying you
Yeah.
were drunk passed out. You were just laying down, and we assumed you were asleep.
You guys were like, "PJ's ignoring me. PJ's ignoring me," and I was like,
I think he was more clever than that.
Yeah.
I can't say a word because, like, if I open my mouth, I'm going to throw up all over this
Oh,
bed.
gross.
And I don't know how that happened because we were
Yeah, making fun of me.
we were standing
Yeah.
outside your car trying to talk Zach into going in and having another drink.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, okay, we're leaving. And I sit down, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta fucking lay down. I gotta
After
lay
you
down.
peed in the
Yeah.
floodlight.
Yeah, a lot of outside peeing.
Yeah, had to
They
go
made it a sport last night.
find a place to pee. There's a perfect shady, dark corner, and this big ass floodlight on an electric eye comes on as soon as my cock is out. Oh my god, it was so scary. Thankfully, I was so drunk that
I swear you turn around and go, "Thanks, Kelly," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
I heard you do the clapper,
Yeah.
like just in case there's a light. God, I wish I could have had McDonald's. I woke up at 4 in the morning and I was like, "Fuck!" They went to McDonald's. I want some so bad.
Yeah, I'm not a big Big Mac fan, which is why I ordered chicken nuggets. But they gave me a Big Mac, which I didn't realize till we were back here, and it was
'Cause
fucking
I'm normally
delicious.
an anal bag checker, but
You want
I
to
did
say that
not.
again?
Yeah,
No, seriously, one more time.
I'm an anal bag checker.
me too. I hate the person that stops once they get their food and you got to wait an extra 10 seconds for the person in front of you to root through their bag. But it's
You gotta be
fucking
that guy.
necessary.
It
man.
is necessary.
And maybe I'm naive.
Wasn't Dad's move to like pull up, but still within the parking
But
lot?
see, that's bullshit
That's
because then
stupid.
you got to stop and go in or
Yeah,
wait in
yeah.
line
Because then
again.
you're not at the window anymore.
Yeah.
No, I know.
I'm not being completely naive because I've worked in fast food. But how do you throw a Big Mac in instead of a 10-piece nuggets? You know?
I've said that all my whole life.
How does every fast food restaurant in Yakima?
Still got my hot.
fuck
up
up orders?
every
How hard is it to
time.
throw one fucking thing as opposed to the other?
And
To be fair, they did remember my hot mustard to now put on my Big Mac.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
caught
there
Yeah.
was-
mustard.
there was
Not
a
only
mustard
did she
in there.
remember it, she like went back for it. Like she was like, "Oh yeah," and then went and grabbed it and gave it to us, even though there's a fucking
Fucking
Big Mac
A.
in there.
Dude, I don't care if it's noon or 4:00 in the morning, and I'm the only drunk guy in line. They fuck up my order every
Yeah.
time.
Every time.
So yeah, so now I am also an anal bag checker. I've got my card to that club.